Thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings in effect right now. We still have that tornado warning in Dodge and western Olmsted County. That is until 5 p.m. for tonight. This is Doppler radar indicated at the moment, and we're seeing that in portions of Dodge County. Let's take a look at, before we get some power flashes, the storm really impacting all of North Iowa, southern Minnesota. Let's take a look at velocity really quick, John, if you don't mind. We'll show you where that rotation is, and this will show you exactly what we're watching for. And here it is right there. You see that little notch right now? This is showing really good rotation. And again, with that very heavy rain, this is going to make it a little hard to see as far as if you're outside trying to spot this particular storm. Strong wind already. That's already our number one problem with this storm, but it's that rotation and that kind of inflow you see right there. That was our latest radar scan. Still a bit of an indent there, and that's still indicating a little bit of rotation. So clearly this is a very dangerous situation just because we do have that tornado embedded inside that storm. And right now, Manorville, the further east you go, this is making an easterly to southeasterly path. You can get another winter storm. There's that low pressure system, all of that going to track to our south, and as a result, really bring in that cooler air to turn that precipitation from rain back into snowfall. And that's exactly what's on the way tomorrow. All of us under that winter storm warning. It will go into effect tomorrow morning, so all of North Iowa and southern Minnesota will be dealing with that. And in terms of those numbers, I don't know if you really want to see this, but it's my job to show you this nonetheless. In the pink, you can see upwards of 6 to 8 inches. That would include Mason City and Charles City. Gust of wind just picked up a few seconds right before they took the camera and came right out to us. This wind's enough to make your eyes water. Wind gusts are exceeding 30 miles an hour, and many in North Iowa are wondering, well, where's the snow at? We had the first round this morning, but where's the rest of it at? Well, now we're kind of on part two in terms of this system. We're starting with some of that light, fine snow right now, but the intensity of it is going to be picking up a lot more as we go throughout the rest of tonight and tomorrow morning. Speaking of tomorrow morning, let's get into your Sunday planner. You're going to notice that starting tomorrow morning, we'll have that heavy snowfall, 6 a.m. through 9 a.m. Around the noon hour, we will still have some of that snowfall flying in North Iowa, but the major accumulating snowfall will start to come to an end after the noon hour and start to diminish throughout Sunday afternoon. And I'm Chief Meteorologist Tyler Roney here with a severe weather update for you this afternoon. Again, we are tracking a line of showers and storms making their way through North Iowa, focusing particularly on this cell that's now getting into Floyd County, and that's exactly who is under a severe thunderstorm warning until 4 o'clock. That does go for all of Floyd County until 4 o'clock, even southern Mitchell County as well. This storm made its way over Cerro Gordo County, and it wasn't severe at the time. Still, of course, had some pretty strong wind gusts, but now we are starting to have those wind gusts pick up to anywhere between 50 and approaching even 60 miles an hour. Zooming in and looking at the velocity, this is kind of a tool that we use to look at the potential for some rotation embedded in this storm. And throughout this afternoon, I know I've been kind of noticing some on and off again rotation. Anytime you start to see those greens and those reds kind of coming together like that, that does indicate some rotation and potentially some tornadic activity. However, this storm has not been really maintaining that side of things. The big concern still remains for those strong wind gusts and even a little bit of hail as well. We'll zoom out on Storm Tracker 3 Doppler radar and kind of put a timeline on this. This storm very slowly making its way off to the northeast. By the way, still plenty of rain behind this entire system, so we're still dealing with that. But just over about the next hour or so, this will be in Marble Rock, Charles City, of course, really just knocking on your door right now in Marble Rock, by the way. Charles City will be in your area in about 10 minutes or so, a little bit more than that on the eastern side. Nashua at about 3:30, and this will continue to make its way to the northeast over about this next half hour to 45 minutes. Another concern that I do have is for some of that hail. And right now, this hail core has really been locked right over Rockford, and the radar is indicating anywhere between 1 and 2 inches in diameter for hail. So the reason why this severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect is because of that hail, anywhere between 1 and 2 inches in diameter, but also for some of those very strong wind gusts as well. We'll zoom everything out to show you what's happening on Storm Tracker 3 Doppler radar. The severe threat still remains mainly in North Iowa. There's still a slight risk for severe weather in the immediate vicinity through this early evening. as the rest of tonight approaches, we will be looking at everything starting to calm down a little bit more. This activity behind the main storm is beginning to just turn into a heavy rainfall event, and that's something that we're going to continue to track as we go throughout. Again, we're going to back up just a little bit to kind of recap everything that we have so far. We will go back to the severe thunderstorm warning to show you that that remains in effect for Floyd County, all of Floyd County, as well as southern Mitchell County until 4 o'clock. So we have about another 45 minutes on this entire warning. You can kind of see that right ahead of that, kind of that bulge on that particular storm. That is where we're seeing the strongest wind gusts right now. And zooming in again, this is a tool that we use to look for rotation. That rotation is just to the north of Marble Rock, but really right over Rudd, and all of this activity heading due east and at times a little bit to the northeast. So that's something that we're going to be tracking. Again, Charles City, you are in the path of this storm. May want to think about seeking shelter now because, again, this is going to be producing some pretty strong wind gusts as well as some hail. And again, the radar has been picking up anywhere between 1 and 2 inches in diameter. Here's the timeline going through the remainder of the afternoon, at least over the next hour for the duration of that warning. Looking like it will be in Charles City in just under 10 minutes. The hail, as I mentioned, still a bit of a concern as well. That core right over Rockford, but this is also going to be making its way to the east and impacting places like Charles City as we go into the next 15 to 20 minutes. One last check anyhow of these showers and storms, zooming everything out. This is the main line of severe weather to be concerned with. I'm not too concerned with southern Minnesota right now. This is primarily in North Iowa. Mitchell County, southern Mitchell County, you're on that northern fringe of this particular storm. So again, that's going to be impacting you over these next 15 to 20 minutes. The main event, if you will, kind of that stronger storm looks to be in Floyd County. And that would be for the damaging wind gusts and the hail as well. The rain not done yet. We still have some heavy rain behind this entire system, and that's something that we're going to be tracking throughout the remainder of this afternoon. That warning is still in effect, and Elma really showing some impressive rotation right now. This is on the western edge of it at the moment, and that's what we're looking at, that rotation. And you could really make it out very, very well right with this particular picture. And this is what's the big problem, because we've been talking about the rainfall and the wind. That's already bad. But when you start to have all that combined, you can't see where this particular storm is. All you see is basically a whiteout, essentially, because of those lower visibilities due to the heavy rainfall. So you can't see where the particular tornado is, but you can see at least on radar that we have that rotation. Those differences in colors you're seeing just indicate a stronger rotation. This is a very dangerous storm, so you need to be in your shelter immediately because, again, you can't even see where this thing is. And these storms have already had a history of producing wind gusts at about 50 to 60 miles an hour. Here's another wind gust, or rather an impressive rotation to show. And you can see again that we have that rotation right there. And this is just west right now oh, here we go. So a little new scan just came in. This storm is just southeast of you in Riceville, but that doesn't mean that it's fine to go outside. The storm's not done yet. So if you're in Riceville, Brandon, let me tell you, it was a historic winter storm. I'm live in Mason City right now. We had thunder snow late last night into the early morning hours, produced very heavy snowfall. It's that wet and heavy snow that you're seeing all across the area. I'm on top of a snow mountain. This is from a parking lot, and this is just from the number that happened last night and into this morning. And look at how much snow that we have amassed just in this parking lot alone. It is really quite amazing. Now, let's take a look at some of those